As of the market close on Friday, December 5th, Bitfarms Ltd, trading under the ticker BITF, is sitting at exactly $2.93 per share. It was a rough session to end the week, with the stock sliding down over 4% on the day, mirroring a broader stumble in the crypto markets where Bitcoin itself took a hit. Since the markets are currently closed for the weekend, this $2.93 figure is your static baseline until pre-market trading opens on Monday morning. Now, if you are looking at that red percentage sign and thinking this is just another day in the volatile life of a crypto miner, you are partially right, but you are also missing the forest for the trees. The expectation here is that Bitfarms is simply a high beta proxy for Bitcoin. When the coin goes up, the stock goes up. When the coin crashes, the stock craters. That is the surface-level narrative that most retail traders on Robinhood stock trading forums or those skimming headlines on their Fidelity mobile app are buying into. The reality, however, is significantly more complex and frankly much more interesting. Bitfarms is currently in the middle of one of the most aggressive strategic pivots we have seen in the sector, effectively trying to morph from a pure-play Bitcoin miner into a diversified energy and infrastructure powerhouse. If you are only watching the price action relative to Bitcoin, you are looking at the past. The real story here is about energy arbitrage, hostile takeover defenses, and a massive fleet upgrade that is flying under the radar. While the expectation is that this company is at the mercy of spot prices, the reality is that they are building a defensive moat based on power generation and efficiency that could separate them from the pack regardless of where the coin trades next week. Let's look at the immediate market context. That drop to $2.93 isn't happening in a vacuum. The broader sector has been under pressure as Bitcoin faced resistance near the $100,000 psychological level, triggering a sell-off that dragged down high-correlation stocks like BITF. When you look at the volume, it is heavy. Institutional activity has been ramping up, which we can see through the lens of recent 13F filings showing increased interest from major quant funds. This isn't just retail panic selling, this is a sector-wide repricing of risk. But here is where the contrarian take comes in. While the market is punishing Bitfarms for short-term Bitcoin price weakness, the company is fundamentally altering its cost structure. They aren't just mining, they are actively managing power loads in regulated markets, specifically through their expansion into the United States. You have to understand the massive shift that occurred with the Riot platform's takeover attempt. Earlier this year, Riot made a play for Bitfarms, essentially trying to swallow them up. Bitfarms fought back hard, implementing a poison pill shareholder rights plan. Most people moved on from that drama, but the aftershocks are what define the company today. That hostile bid forced Bitfarms to get lean and mean very quickly. It forced them to accelerate their fleet upgrades and prove to shareholders that they were worth more alone than as a subsidiary of a larger competitor. When you see the stock trading at these levels, you have to weigh the standalone value they are building against that previous buyout offer. They are essentially proving their independence through execution. This brings us to the Stronghold digital mining acquisition. This is the piece of the puzzle that many investors using simple screening tools on SoFi Invest or interactive brokers might overlook. By moving to acquire Stronghold, Bitfarms isn't just buying more hash rate, they are buying into the Pennsylvania energy grid. This is crucial. Pennsylvania operates within the PJM interconnection, a deregulated energy market. This allows Bitfarms to not only consume power, but potentially interact with the grid in ways that stabilize their costs. They are moving away from being just a consumer of electricity to being a grid-stabilizing partner. This distinction is what separates a company that survives a crypto winter from one that goes bankrupt. The expectation is that they are just plugging in more machines. The reality is that they are building defensive power assets that are becoming increasingly scarce in a world where AI data centers are gobbling up every gigawatt they can find. Speaking of AI, we need to address the elephant in the room. Every miner right now is trying to pivot to high-performance computing to service the likes of the NVIDIA stock ecosystem. Bitfarms is no different, but they are being pragmatic. Their expansion into the US and their fleet upgrades are setting the stage for this. They recently sold their Yguazu site in Paraguay. On the surface, selling an asset looks like a contraction, but if you dig deeper, it is a brilliant strategic rebalancing. They are taking capital out of South America, where political and infrastructure risks can be higher, and redeploying it into the United States. They are trading high-risk megawatts for stable, high-value American megawatts. This improves their valuation multiple because Wall Street generally rewards US-based assets with a premium compared to emerging market assets. Let's talk about the hardware, because this is where the rubber meets the road. Bitfarms has been aggressively upgrading their fleet to the T21 miners and other high-efficiency rigs. Efficiency is measured in joules per terahash. The lower the number, the less electricity you pay for every Bitcoin you mine. Bitfarms has been driving this number down relentlessly. This is the only metric that matters when the block reward has been cut in half. If you're running old machines, you are unprofitable at $60,000 Bitcoin. With these upgrades, Bitfarms is positioning itself to remain cash flow positive even if we see a significant correction in crypto prices. This is the kind of detail you need to look for when you are doing your own self-investing research or looking for investment help. It is not just about how many machines they have, it is about how much juice those machines sip. Now pause for a second. I want to hear your take on this strategy. Comment below how many shares of Bitfarms you currently hold, or if you think their move to sell off South American assets to focus on the US is the right play. Do you prefer the diversification of international sites, or do you want the stability of the US grid? Let me know down in the comments. Getting back to the analysis, we have to discuss the financials. The most recent earnings reports have been a mixed bag, which is typical for a company in transition. They have faced increased difficulty adjustments on the network, which is just a fancy way of saying it is getting harder to mine Bitcoin globally. This squeezes margins. However, their balance sheet remains relatively robust. They have been using their at-the-market equity program to raise cash. Now, dilution is a dirty word for shareholders. Nobody likes to see their slice of the pie get smaller. But in this capital-intensive industry, cash is oxygen. By raising cash now, while the stock has liquidity, they are ensuring they can pay for those T21 miners and close the Stronghold deal without taking on toxic debt. It's a painful but necessary medicine. If you are using a Fidelity brokerage account or managing a Schwab Intelligent portfolio, you know that debt can kill small-cap growth stocks. Bitfarms is trying to avoid the debt trap that claimed so many other miners in the last cycle. The trading technicals on the chart are also flashing some interesting signals. At $2.93, we are sitting near a support zone that has held up previously. There is a lot of volume profile support in the high $2 range. If it breaks below this, we could see a retest of lower lows, but the consolidation here suggests that the market is waiting for a catalyst. That catalyst could be the finalization of the Stronghold deal, or it could be a breakout in Bitcoin price. But there is also the short squeeze potential. Crypto miners are heavily shorted stocks. If Bitfarms delivers a surprise on their efficiency numbers in the next monthly update, or if they announce a new HPC partnership, you could see a rapid repricing as shorts rush to cover. This is high-risk, high-reward territory, which is why it often pops up on Robinhood app top movers lists. Let's broaden the scope to the sector momentum. We are seeing a bifurcation in the mining industry. You have the giants who are effectively becoming utility companies, and you have the smaller players who are struggling to keep up. Bitfarms is fighting to stay in that upper tier. Their hash rate targets are ambitious, aiming for over 21 exahash per second once full deployment is hit. To put that in perspective, 21 exahash is a massive amount of computing power. It places them firmly in the major leagues. But deploying that hash rate is not just about plugging in machines. It's about cooling, maintenance, and uptime. The operational execution risk is real. If they miss their deployment timelines, the market will punish them. We saw this earlier in the year when they had to navigate leadership changes. The current CEO, Ben Binan, has a clear vision, but the market is in show-me mode. They want to see the exahash hit the network, not just the press releases. The macro environment is also a double-edged sword right now. We have interest rates that are relatively high, which makes capital expensive. This hurts growth stocks. However, we also have an unprecedented demand for power generation in the US driven by the AI boom. This is where the expectations versus reality dynamic plays out again. The market expects Bitfarms to compete solely on Bitcoin mining economics. The reality is that their power contracts are valuable assets in their own right. There is a scenario in the future where a miner like Bitfarms could pivot some of its capacity to hosting AI training clusters. They haven't gone all in on this like some competitors, but the optionality is there. If you're comparing this to Tesla stock or Apple stock, it's obviously a different risk profile, but the underlying theme of compute infrastructure is the same. You are betting on the need for massive amounts of digital processing power. Let's look at the institutional landscape. When you look at who is buying Bitfarms, it is not just the usual crypto funds. We are seeing broader index inclusion and more traditional asset managers dipping their toes in. This is partly due to the spot Bitcoin ETFs. Now that institutions have a direct way to buy the coin, they are looking for miners to provide alpha, or returns that beat the coin itself. Bitfarms is positioning itself as that high beta play. If they can expand their margins while Bitcoin stays flat, they win. If Bitcoin goes up and they have operating leverage,